Hey y'all, we are back, and it is time for another episode of our Out of the Park Baseball 21 series with the Boston Red Sox. It is May 23rd, 2022. The Red Sox 24 and 30. We are 6.5 games out in the AL East behind the Tampa Bay Rays, and we are 5.5 games out in the wild card race. So, not really too much has changed since the last time that we checked in. We are still 6 games under 500. I think we were 14 and 20 the last time that I stopped the simulation, and we were roughly 6.5 games out. We might have been 5 or 6, somewhere in there, but not much has changed. I was reading some of the comments. The MLB Network analysts provided some input on what this team should do. So comment number one was reading some of your comments. In my save, I use the Marlins. God bless. Chris Sale had a career-ending injury in 2023, and it was a torn rotator cuff. So fingers crossed that does not happen to us. Also, you should trade Vasquez and fire the hitting coach. You've put together good offenses, and he hasn't helped you capitalize on that. And that is a good point. I was very high on my offense coming into the season. I thought that it would be pretty towards the top of not only the American League, but I thought it would be towards the top of Major League Baseball, and it just hasn't happened that way. Vasquez probably plays a part in that. As I said in the last episode, he's been a black hole in the lineup, even batting ninth. What he's doing is still unacceptable for a Major League Baseball player to do at the plate, and maybe the hitting coach is an issue. Maybe you look at the lineup right now, Kirilloff's doing well, McCutchen, for what I brought him in for, is doing all right. Devers is really underperforming, though. Ramos has been all right. He's actually probably been better than all right. He's been really good, considering the way I got him. He was a last-minute signing, and now he's tied for our team lead in home runs. He's leading the team in RBI, so he's had a very good year for us. Jeter Downs has been okay, nothing special. Cassius is tied for the team lead in home runs, but his batting average leaves a lot to be desired. Gallo is third on the team in home runs with 11. He has 25 RBI. Galvis, he's not doing as well offensively this year as he did a year ago, and then we've talked about Vasquez. So it's definitely a combination of things, and maybe it is the hitting coach. Comment number two, starting to think hitting coach might have to be replaced, so I'm starting to see a theme here. Too good of a team to be struggling that bad offensively, kind of like the Phillies taking action last season, struggling offensively with all the good bats they had. Now he's talking about in real life in 2019 when the Phillies fired John Maley, and they brought in, I say brought in quotation marks because he was already with the team, but Charlie Manuel to be the hitting coach for the remainder of the season. And for some of the batters, it seemed like it worked. For other batters, it did not. But regardless, and maybe look into a new team trainer. I see you struggle with a lot of injuries. I think pretty much the entire save, and I do agree. So I took those comments and I did make some changes. So if we go to front office and personnel, I did fire our hitting coach, Tim Hires, and we brought in a new hitting coach, Joey DeMonte. You can see that he has been the hitting coach now for about 18 games, and we have scored 69 runs and allowed 76. So we are scoring an average of 3.83 runs per game, which is not good. I understand that there will be an adjustment period, but that's still not acceptable for the bats that we do have in this lineup. So hopefully he gets it together, because I signed him to a pretty lucrative deal, $236,000 through 2024, and I really would not like to have to replace him again. And we also did get a new team trainer, Dave Groschner. You can see he's 57. He specializes in prevention, which I think we could use. He is a lot better than what our previous team trainer was. Our previous team trainer had an average and a fair for two of these preventions. He had only one great and the rest good. So this trainer is definitely a lot better, and hopefully we will start to see that in game. Hopefully we will start to see some less severe injuries. I understand that baseball, you're going to get day-to-day injuries here and there, but hopefully we start to see less severe injuries than what we've seen so far through the first few years. But we are 24 and 30, and I think that we do need to make some moves now. It is only May 23rd. Obviously, we have 2 months and a week or so until the deadline, but I think now is the time where we have to make moves, not only for the short-term future of the Boston Red Sox, but for long-term as well. I just don't think that this team, the way it is currently constructed, is going to win much of anything. So I think that now is the time where we need to make some moves if we want to even have a chance to salvage 2022. I do have a few trades in mind that I want to look at and explore. So I'm going to take a look. I'm going to try to make some moves. Hopefully, I will be able to. And when I come back, I will walk you guys through each of the decisions that I made. Okay. My record time is at 54 minutes. So I went through a lot of potential trade packages. And I think I found one that doesn't necessarily help the offense, but I think it helps both the short-term and the long-term outlook for the Boston Red Sox. It fills a need, it fills a need that we've had since we started this save, and even before, I'd say in real life, it filled a real-life need for this team. So I'm going to talk y'all through it, and hopefully you guys approve of it. I'm pretty happy with it, and I hope that you guys will understand it too. So we made a trade with the San Diego Padres, who could really use some offense and some young, cost-controlled offense, and they had a lot of pitching to give up. They had a plethora. So in this trade, we traded them Tristan Casas, Jeter Downs, Tanner Houck, and Rogelio Armenteros, and David Ducote, who was one of our minor league prospects. He was actually one of our first ever draft picks. And we traded all of them, that package of 5 players, to the Padres for Jacob Nix, Michael Baez, and Nick Gonzalez. So first off, as I said, this team needed a lot of, or not a lot, but they needed some cost-controlled young offensive players, and I figured that Cassius and Downs could kind of fill that role for them. They had pretty much below replacement level players in the lineup at those positions. They had Eric Hosmer at first base, who was really killing them. He was kind of a black hole, not as much as Christian Vasquez is for us, but it's pretty similar. And they had Adam Frazier as their starting second baseman. So I think that giving them Cassius and Downs gives them some young options. You see Cassius only 22, Downs only 23. It gives them some young options to kind of build around for the years to come. It just, I did not think that those two players, in terms of our team, would ever help lead us to a championship. I think that they can be very good. You can see Cassius, he has 70 grade power, which is definitely good, but he lacked drive. It's just, I don't really want to have that on my team. I like to avoid that if it's possible. Now, the team chemistry is fine, so I don't, it's not like he was affecting it negatively, but I say a lot that power sells in this game and power has value. And I mean, he has 70 grade power, but I think I can find guys like this. I don't want to say easily throughout the course of this save, but I can always find someone, whether it's through a trade or through free agency or whatever, that have similar type of power. I mean, I got Joey Gallo for, not really all that much. So I'd like to think that if I really need power that badly, I can always find it somewhere else. Jeter Downs, it kind of hurt me to trade him. I wanted him to be in Boston for the majority of this save, but I just don't think he's ever going to turn into what I need him to turn into. I've said before that you don't need superstars at every position in the lineup, but I just don't think that Jeter Downs is going to be the guy that I need at the Keystone to bring this team into World Series contention. I think that he can be a very serviceable player. I think that on a championship team, maybe he'll be a contender somewhere down the road, but he's not what I need right now. So I decided to trade him to San Diego. Now, we also gave them Houck and Armenteros, who were in our starting rotation for most of this year because of injuries, and I tossed them back a couple of pitchers. Maybe they can work their magic. As I said, they have a plethora of pitchers. The fact that we got these two pitchers, they still have guys to fill those holes. They still have Chris Paddock, Mackenzie Gore, and somebody else who I can't. Oh, and Dinelson LeMay. They still have those 3 guys who were in the bullpen that they can use to fill those spots in their rotation. Not to mention they have depth at the minor league levels as well. They have a ton of pitching, this team does. And I figured you could see they're 1 game behind in the division right now. Their pitching will be fine, but their offense really needed a lift, even with some of the guys that they have, like Fernando Tatis Jr. So I figured that maybe this trade could help be the one to put them over the top and help them stay with the Dodgers, who are obviously an offensive juggernaut. Maybe this is the trade that can help them stay with the Dodgers throughout the entire season. And then we also traded David Ducote, one of our, as I said, first ever draft picks. He's not going to be in the rookie league for them. I just have to simulate up a day, and then he'll go to the right thing. But It's just another thing of I don't think he was ever going to be as good as our scout thinks he will be. I think that once again he can probably be serviceable, but I think that the guy we got in his place has the potential to be a lot better. So let's talk about what we got. First, we'll start with the pitchers because they are on our major league team. The first pitcher we got was Jacob Nix. He's 26 years old. He's only been in the majors for 3 years. You can see he's he has the minimum salary right now. He's just going to start arbitration after this season. Humble. He's one of the most coachable players on the team. Solid stuff. Okay movement, pretty average. Maybe a tick, like a small tick below, but he can put that ball wherever he wants to when he throws it over the plate, and he has two really, really good pitches in his fastball and his curveball, and then the slider and the changeup are above average, nothing to scoff at. He's had a pretty solid season so far in 2022, and he's actually been very good since they called him up in 2020. You can see that he's been a pretty reliable starter for them. He was a 2.4 win pitcher all of last season. It seems like he pitched in relief a little bit too. This year, he's already a 2-win player in only 11 starts. So it seemed like this was a guy that we could just slot into our rotation and expect pretty solid results out of for years to come. And the same goes for Michael Baez. Really, really, really good stuff. Borderline elite. Now, he is an extreme fly ball pitcher. He has low adaptability, but I do trust that he will be able to work through those issues. He only wants to be known as a good teammate, which is always good. Solid stamina. The movement and the control leave a little to be desired, but for a starting pitcher with a stuff like his, it's a risk I'm willing to take a chance on. He's also 26 years old. He's only been in the majors for 2 years. 3+ pitches with the fastball, the slider, and the changeup, and a pretty good curveball, too. You can see he's also been pretty solid this year ever since they've called him up too. In 2019, he's been very, very good, and I expect that to continue with us this year. And they're both, normal injury proneness, so no issues there. They're not fragile. They're not injury wrecked, right? So that'll be fine. Then we also got the number 24 prospect in all of baseball in this package in Nick Gonzalez. He's 22 years old. He won't be at the rookie league. I'll put him where he needs to be. I'll put him at AA. But you can see that he's 22 years old. It seems like he'll be pretty good defensively at the Keystone, which is fine. He's a leader. He has high loyalty, high adaptability. He's not greedy at all. He can run the bases pretty well. He doesn't have a ton of speed. He's not super fast, but I think that he's athletic enough to get through the bases. You can see that his contact and his gap power grades should be pretty good. The home run power, 50 grade, I'm not too upset about that. I think that can lend itself to double-digit home runs in a full season. Should have a pretty good eye, and he should be able to avoid strikeouts. Players like this are always valuable, and I think that he can definitely potentially be our future at second base, depending on when he cuts up. I'd say his ETA is probably 2023. Maybe he'll sneak his way up at the end of this year, depending on how this team does. But before I forget, I'm going to put him up to AA, and then I will set that lineup for AA and S manager. Cool. And now he's in lineup. Perfect. So that was the trade that we made. We did trade one of the guys that was tied for the team league in home runs, but I do think that, we needed to make a change, and maybe this change is the one that we needed to make. To fill Jeter Downs' spot, we called up the guy that we got from the Dodgers in that offseason trade, Jacob Amaya. He wanted to be in the majors, and I figured that this was probably the best time to call him up. He is hitting to an 839 OPS in 167 plate appearances. He's a 1.31 player. He's a spark plug. He's a leader. He has high adaptability. He has a great work ethic. He can play a good second base defensively, kind of similar to Gonzalez, but just with less power and probably less potential at the plate. And then Ozuna's rehab time was basically up, so we called him up, and he will be our DH for the foreseeable future. I tried looking for trade packages for Christian Vasquez. It just didn't make sense. Now, he's not in the best mood. He's angry, but I'm not just going to trade him for nothing. I'd like to get some type of value for him, and the packages that were out there just did not make sense. So, those are the trades that we made. I would like to probably try to get a better backup outfielder. So we're going to actually let Tsutsugo play a lot less than he has been playing, because I think that's probably a big issue. So we'll move him to every 8th and then every 12th, because I don't think he needs to be playing as much as he is. So that's the trade we made. I have been, in the meantime, scouting the draft pool, which seems like it'll be okay. If we go all the way up here. So there's this really good relief pitcher, Jerry Pullen, who I don't think will be there when it's my turn to pick, but I would definitely like to take a chance on him because it seems like he could be very, very good. high intelligence. But we'll talk about that when we get there. I will simulate up ahead to the draft. That'll probably be the next time that we talk. When is that? That is the 4th, and we are at the 23rd. So about another couple weeks, I'll simulate up to the draft, and then we can talk some more, see how our acquisitions are performing. All right, we're at the first-year player draft. You can see that we've still kind of been up and down since the last time that we checked in. We split against the Yankees. We lost 2 out of 3 games to the Orioles. We split with the Cubs, and we have gone 1-1 against the Athletics so far with 2 games on the way. But we are at the first-year player draft. The Red Sox 28-35 are now 7 back in the division. The Orioles are in first place and 7.5 back in the wild card race. So I don't know. The playoffs are still kind of a potential possibility, but we have suffered a couple more injuries. Colin McHugh will be out for 5 months with shoulder inflammation, and Andrew Politi will be out for 3 to 4 months. He tore his meniscus. So we called up John DePlanier to come up and be our long relief guy to replace McHugh, and it seems like he has kind of done pretty well since he's come up. Oh, well, maybe not. Thought his ERA, I guess his ERA kind of went down a little bit, but he's still not doing super great. And then we called up Brian Mata to make his major league debut and fill in Politi's spot in the rotation. I figured it was about time. He wasn't doing really good at all at AAA, but I figured it was time. He was getting upset that he was not in the majors, so I figured this was the next step in his development. He just made his first start. He only lasted 4 1/3, but you got to remember he's still coming back from that injury, so he's probably not going to pitch super long. The thing that did him in this time was walks. He walked 4 guys, and that's been an issue in the minor leagues regardless for him for a while. So hopefully he can kind of get that down a little bit. That's kind of a vintage Vince Velasquez line right there. 4 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 4 walks, and 7 strikeouts, and 90 pitches. It's a pretty good Vince Velasquez line right there. But hopefully he can kind of be a bright spot for us here throughout the final few months of the season. Baez, since we got him, he's made 2 starts, and he has been awful. He struck out 9, walked 3. It's just a lot of home runs, basically. 4 home runs in 2 games. It's not very good, but that's fine. Jacob Nix, on the other hand, you can see that he has not been as bad, but still nothing to write home about. A 4.35 ERA, but it's only been 2 starts. I'm confident in these guys. I would not have traded for them if I was not confident that they could be good. So I am fine. Thad Ward has actually improved a little bit. I just got the player development update, and he's actually improved a little bit. He's been a lot better than I thought he would, making the jump straight from AA to the majors. 4 ERA. The FIP is, maybe a tick below average, but he's been a solid guy for us in the rotation. He's kind of been a stabilizer. He's pitched 54 solid innings. Not much more I can ask from him. But it is the first-year player draft. We'll go to mail and news, and you can see these are the top guys that are expected to be picked. I know one of you mentioned Kumar Rocker. I think it was Noah, that he is a pretty good prospect in this draft class. Unfortunately, I will not have the potential to get him because I have a pick later in the draft, but these are the top 10 guys. Looks like a lot of pitchers and then some batters mixed in there. So let's go to the, not negotiate, first-year player draft. Same deal as last time. I'll show maybe 10 rounds or so, and then we'll get on with it. You can see that we have the 17th pick, your top 5, the Rangers, Brewers, Giants, Nationals, and Pirates. So the Nationals have fallen off since they won the World Series in real life, it would seem. So let's start the draft and make sure we see all players. I scouted most of these guys, so they have at least high scouting accuracy. So let's go into the next pick by Boston. And that relief pitcher is still there, which is good. That's a guy that I really wanted to look at. You see this high schooler here, this high school right fielder, who is very raw right now, but it does seem like he has some potential. Not great in the field, not great on the base path, so it seems like he'd just be batting nothing else. I really want this relief pitcher. I think that he could be up pretty quickly. You can see that he was a college junior, and at Arizona, it seems like he did pretty well this season, a 1.33 ERA. He started in college. He's not going to start in the majors. He will definitely just be a bullpen piece, but these guys are always valuable. It would be nice not to have to sign or trade for these guys seemingly every year. So I'm really smitten with Pullen. But we'll take a look at some other guys. Andrew Woods, he wants $5 million as a high school senior. Now, I'm not against giving money out to players who I think deserve it, but it's just so tough to project high school pitchers. Now, I do think that these pitchers have a chance to improve. It seems like he could be maybe like a back of the rotation guy. my scout thinks middle of the rotation, which, I mean, that's a possibility. Neutral. He has pretty good velocity at 6'2", 180. Braylon Bishop, a center fielder, that this is a guy that has speed, he can run the bases, he can play the field, but the bat seems like it'll probably be maybe average at best. Texarkana, he did very well in high school against average competition, but I really want to take that relief pitcher. I think that's what I am going to do. It seems like this is actually a pretty solid draft class, just off the few guys that I've looked at. Yeah, we're going to take Jerry Pullen. It's just he's 22 years old. It would be nice to have a relief pitcher just in the system that can be up in a year or two. I mean, you take a look at his statistics. I'd be shocked if this guy's not up by 2024. He's pretty much all ready to go, and he has 2 elite pitches possibly. So we're going to draft Pullen. We're not going to mess around. Relief pitchers, don't be afraid to draft a relief pitcher early on with your first round pick. Those are always valuable, especially with the way the major leagues are going today. And now Andrew Woods is still there. Is that center fielder still there? I kind of liked him. I don't think it was Cecil, although I like, oh, wow. Cecil seems like he could be good. High work ethic. Yeah, wow. Yeah, I did look at some of these guys before I started the draft as kind of guys that I wanted to target, and Cecil was one of them. As a high schooler, he doesn't really want a lot of money, and he did pretty well against average high school competition. So I think that he might be a good guy to try and get. Brasher seems like he could be good, but I don't really want to give $5.5 million to a high school catcher. That's not as good defensively as I would personally like. So I think that I'm going to take a chance on Mike Cecil out of high school. I will draft him and go to the next pick. Now, if there's relief pitchers at the top are still there, they might be someone that I look at, and they are. Jackson Baumeister, another guy that started in high school, but he's not going to start in the major league. Seems like he could be a pretty good middle relief option with the 60 grade stuff. He's a fly ball pitcher. Take a look here. Projects to provide consistently reliable middle relief, which is fine. I'm fine with that. The movement might never come around, so I do want to just take a look. Oh, Maxwell Muncy. Interesting. Well, if Max Muncy was good, maybe Maxwell Muncy would be good as well, right? He might be there in the next round. I don't know. We are looking at all players, yeah. Let's see. Kynan Lovell. Let's see. He has 4 pitches that could maybe be pretty good. Maybe a good back of the rotation guy at the 50 grade stamina. Take a look. Makings of the 5th starter. And, in the 3rd round, if you draft a guy that's going to be your 5th starter for years, that's not necessarily a bad thing. We took a look at Brasher, Van Andel, perhaps. Yeah, I mean, he's an introverted kind of guy, which isn't bad. I mean, I'm introverted too. This was the center fielder I was looking at before too, Mike Mills. High work ethic, low greed, high adaptability. Another guy that seems like he could be pretty good. So we'll draft Mike Mills and draft the player. And I'll draft next pick. And those relief pitchers are gone. The catcher's still there, which is interesting. Zach Adams. No, wait, I saw that guy from Switzerland too that I was kind of interested in. Not a lot of movement, though. Oof, I did not notice that the first time around. Oh, well. Orlando Adams Jr. Let's see, when I draft these catchers, I kind of like them to be a little better defensively. I think it's just an easy way to get guys that are good behind the plate to help your younger pitchers. So probably not that. Davis Diaz looks like he could be a good guy. He's committed to UCLA, high school senior. He did pretty well. He has a high work ethic, high intelligence. He's a leader. Seems like he could be pretty good defensively. Good base running. What does OSA think? OSA likes him a little more than my head scout, but they both seem to like him pretty well. It seems like he could be respectable with the bat. Not a ton of power, but good everywhere else. So we're going to take a chance. What was that guy's name? Oh, yeah, Davis Diaz, another high schooler. We're drafting a lot of high schoolers, which I don't normally do, but I think it just makes sense. Starting pitcher would not be the worst thing in the world, but I'm not sold on it. What round are we in? We are in the 5th round already. Wow, we are making progress, boys. We looked at Kynan Lovell. Was this the guy that could be a 5th starter? Yeah. I'm not totally against it. Fly ball pitcher at 89 to 91 miles per hour. It's not super great. But I do think that he could be valuable. Take a look at maybe some of the older arms. Jackie Anderson, not really thrilled with that. Chris Armstrong. You could have 3 good pitches. Another guy that probably could be a 5th starter. A chance to fill a depth starting spot. I mean, what does OSA think? OSA likes him a lot more. University of Florida. He pitched a 3.01 ERA in 20 games started. 3.2 wins above replacement. That's not too important, but 155 strikeouts and 131 innings. We'll take a chance on Chris Armstrong. What was his stamina? 50 great stamina, so he could be a starter at the major league level. So yeah, I kind of like Armstrong. We'll take a chance on him. Easy sign. So yeah, move on to the 6th round here. Take a look if there's any catchers. I know I can just sort by catcher, but I suppose not. That's fine. I mean, we have so much catching depth at this point that I've acquired over the first few seasons of this. Keyshawn Askew, another guy. This guy went to Clemson, so he did pretty well too. High adaptability. He's greedy. He's not really a leader. It's fine. I'm not against it. Low loyalty, high greed. Bierman doesn't seem like he'll ever be anything more than just minor league depth. Bradley Bremer, kind of the same thing as Bremer. Or Bierman. Brad Blasius. Ooh. Rigid in his routines, has some speed. He's solid in the outfield. No pop whatsoever. Now, he's another guy from high school. Oh, he wants $6 million now. I'm not paying you $6 million. No. Terry Reed, I think we took a look at this guy. I mean, I feel like a guy like this is kind of always valuable. A guy that, is good on the base paths and plays really well defensively at any outfield position. Another guy that doesn't have any pop in his bat whatsoever, but 19 years old. I think I'll take a chance on him. He doesn't want a lot of money either. Only $450,000, so we'll take a chance on him. And now we'll move on to the 7th round. Cole Andrews, is that a catcher? That, yeah, we've already looked at him. Take a look. Let me see. Let me see if there's any really good catchers. 65 grade catcher Jaden Melendez. It seems like he's the best catcher remaining. Yeah, this is a guy that I would like to take as a catcher. Where's he committed to? He's committed to UCF, University of Central Florida, but I'm going to take him now. He doesn't want a lot of money either. We've scouted him a lot. So we'll take him in the 7th round. I think that's a good pick there in the 7th. Now, I do want to look at pitchers, individual pitch potential. Let's see who has a lot of pitches that could really be good. This is pitch potential. This Anthony Solomato guy looks like he could be... he only has 35 stamina, so he would be a bullpen piece. That's a shame. He has... Well, I mean, as a bullpen piece, it's not off Winslow Township, New Jersey. Bishop Eustace. Oh, that's cool. Impossible sign, though, so nope, it's not even worth it. Let's take a look here. Does anybody have, 4+ pitches? I doubt it, because it's the 8th round, but this guy looks like he could be maybe something. Jonathan Edwards. Not great stuff. He could be minor league depth, but he's more likely for journeyman status than stardom. I guess 89 to 91. It seems like he might be one of the better options. Sam Bachman, another guy. Maybe I should try to look at guys with good stuff. That would probably be interesting. Stuff potential. All right, I think I'm going to take a chance on another Florida pitcher, Nolan Crisp. I don't know. It seems like he could maybe be something good. It seems like he's one of the better pitchers available. So we're going to take a chance on Nolan Crisp here in the 8th round. I'd like to see batting potential, see if there's any really good power bats left. And this Josh Murphy guy is there. He is an extremely hard sign out of high school. Very low contact potential. Not really great in the field. Not great running the bases. Is there anybody else that's a little better? It's Tony. Ooh, interesting. Tony Bullard. Seems like he would be better in the field or as a position player than as a pitcher. Let me see his fielding ratings, infield arm. So he could maybe be a okay first baseman. I don't know if I'd put him at third. I mean, I guess he kind of has the arm for third. Not great range over there. Yeah, we could take a chance on Bullard and then just not let him be a two-way player. Let him just be a position player. So that's a pretty interesting pick in the 9th round. We'll see if Bullard ever develops. That'll be interesting. I'll take a look at guys that have a good eye at the plate. Might be good. I see some pitchers in here, which is interesting. Gap power. Guys that maybe won't strike out a lot. Greg Billings, maybe. He has no eye whatsoever, but he's not going to strike out. Could be pretty solid in the field. High schooler. I feel like we've drafted a lot of high schoolers. Maybe guys that have high speed or high contact might be good. Oh, Christian Moore. Hello. Extremely hard sign. I mean, if it wasn't for the control, it seems like this guy could be a pretty good starting pitcher, too. 19 years old. This guy could be a pitcher or a batter, it looks like. Wow, really good defensively. I think we're going to take a chance on this guy. It seems like he could be a... Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to have him be a starter because the control is really, really bad, but I like him as a shortstop. I think that he could be pretty good. Christian Moore, yeah. Let's take a shot on Christian Moore. 10th round, so that's the picks I'm going to show. I'm just going to simulate the rest of the draft, and then I will come back and we will wrap everything up, I suppose, because I've been recording for a while, it seems like, so it'd probably be a good idea just to just end the recording right now. So yeah, I'm just going to auto draft the rest of the draft, and then we will wrap it up. All right, so I've given contract offers to the players that I would like to take or keep from my draft class. So I think that's basically it. Oh, no. Oh, we lost Noah Song for the year. He was doing really well, too. He was developing nicely. This is a guy that could be in our Major League rotation at some point, too. Man, that sucks. Shoulder inflammation again. What is going on with this team and the shoulder inflammation? Oh, that's a shame. All right, well, in any case, I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm actually getting my Nintendo Switch today, which I am very excited to play, so I recorded this earlier in the day, so I could just play my Switch for the rest of the day. But I want to thank you for watching. Next episode, we will get on up to the All-Star break, the deadline. If we need to make any moves, we will. It seems like we might have to sell, which is unfortunate. Don't quite know what I would sell, but I don't know. We will cross that bridge when we get to it. I want to thank you for watching this episode, and I will catch you guys next time. Enjoy the rest of your day.